Real quick before we get into today's video, just want to thank all the people over on Patreon for all their support, because without their help, the upgraded content that you see on the channel, that you really see in the video essays and a few of the lore discussions would not be possible without their help. But over on the Patreon, you get sneak peeks of videos months in advance. Patrons also get priority on the Q&As. Every 3 months we do an anime and manga haul, and I give away a lot of good goodies in that. And it's also just really cool to talk to you guys in the DMs, and if some of you guys have theories that you want me to talk about on the channel, obviously I will talk about your theories. Just send them to me over on the Patreon. But with that being said, let's get into the review. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto episode 245. And now that episode 245 is done in the books, press F in the chat for Kagura, man. We smoking that Kagura pack today. Yo, this is what I wanted. I had a feeling something was getting ready to happen, man. Like when Messiah Honda, if I'm not mistaken, sends out that cryptic tweet in response to one of the people saying, man, like, I hope Kagura doesn't die, or he ended up liking the tweet. I said, man, there ain't no way they're gonna kill this dude. They killed him. Yo, we smoking that Kagura pack. Yo, this is what we needed. If you can't tell, I love it. I absolutely love it, because we've seen this man's character develop up to this point, and based off what we've seen on the next episode preview, the wound that he got when he got stabbed from behind, it's been closed up, but he's still bleeding, which means that we got some internal injuries on top of this. Dude, I'm all for this. It's time to see Boruto snap. Yo, and I'm gonna say this too. I've seen people say, hey man, how come Boruto didn't use his karma in order to absorb that water jutsu? That doesn't make any sense. It's a plot hole. No, that's not a plot hole. Similar to people asking how come they're not using the walk on water technique to walk across the ocean. That's not a plot hole. I mean, I'm doing a whole video explaining the walk on water part. When it comes to the karma seal, karma can only absorb jutsu when it's not made from naturally existing properties. Boruto's karma could not absorb that water tornado that Funamushi made, because it started out being made from a body of water that existed in the ravine. And I like what the writers did right there, is it put Boruto in a perilous situation. I like that. So now that we got the two parts of the episode that left me absolutely hyped out of the way, let's back up for a little bit and let's go over the actual episode in detail. So I like how the episode opens up with Hebi Ichigo, and she's being tracked down by Bunten and Kyoho, and Kyoho makes it a point to say that, like, Bunten, you don't really understand Hebi Ichigo. She's really upset right now because when she left, she thought that we would have left with her. And Bunten basically is like, look, like, I told her not to trust the wrong person. I'm doing this because if we clear this mission, we're all gonna be free. She's acting like a leader, and now that Kagura's been dusted off, this is her coming of age in terms of coming into her own as a leader. And if Kagura somehow ends up surviving, this kind of puts her in place as being the number 2, and I'm okay with that. I thought that that was a nice moment right there. And I like how when the episode then transitions over and you see how Kagura is still keeping a little bit of hope, as is Boruto, that Bunten and Hebi Ichigo and Kyoho are going to show back up. Kawaki's like, hey, we can't go into a battle planning on these people being able to show up and help us out. That's not smart from a battle tactician strategy standpoint. And Kawaki is right, but you kind of see that naive nature in Boruto, where Boruto just believes everything's going to work out. Now, his trust is in the right place, so it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you know, Kawaki was right. So it's one of those things where both characters can be right and neither one of them is actually wrong in the situation. And they have a pretty smart plan in place. Essentially, what they're going to do is they're going to lure the members of the Funato clan, that army, or basically that platoon that is showing up. They're going to lure them in there. They're going to drop the Earth style mud wall balls that Iwabe made, and they're going to block their path, and then they're just going to pick off everybody there. And as the battles are going forward, they're essentially going to have Boruto's team take out Funamushi. Very sound strategy, because if you can take out the leader, you're absolutely good, because everybody else is going to be in a state of chaos at that point, because you're going to destroy their morale. However, unbeknownst to them, while Metal Lee is looking like one of those people that finally got himself some of that kitty cat, and then the girl kind of makes it known that like, yo, me and you hooked up during demon hours. I'm not necessarily trying to be in a relationship with you. This is a one-time thing. Metal Lee looked like he got all his feelings hurt, saying Hebi Ichigo's name all quiet. They're being spied on by members of the Funato clan, and Hebi Ichigo, as she's trying to get out the area, Hebi Ichigo overhears the plan of the Funato clan, which is basically they're going to ambush Kagura's team, because unbeknownst to Kagura and them, there was actually a game trail that existed on the other side of the ravine, which basically gave them the high ground, which is a huge strategy element, because whoever controls that high ground, as well as the element of surprise, and whoever becomes an agent of chaos, you're in control of the whole chessboard. Because when people are not unified, you're able to use the chaos to make everybody move into the various positions that you need. That way it's easier to strike down multiple pieces that are spread out, opposed to multiple pieces collected in one space. So I did like seeing that right there. However, the problem is that once the battle begins to start kicking off, the thing that they don't account for is the fact that this new generation 7 Ninja Swords of the Mist, they're pretty damn strong. So this first wave of combatants that they have, they get taken out very quickly. But that's when Funamushi, as he's watching, it's like, why is everybody struggling? And then that's when he recognizes Kagura. And once he sees that Kagura's there, he associates Kagura with Siren's death. And so he immediately jumps into the battleground at that point. And what I like is that as the battle is progressing and this man gets involved, it quickly becomes clear that this is a multi-staged attack by Funamushi. But by the time Kagura is confronted by Funamushi, Boruto shows up. He's got his kunai. He's able to catch Funamushi off guard because he's just so focused on Kagura that Boruto knocks him on his ass. And what I like right there is that just when it looks like there's about to be this big gang up battle, Funamushi realizes the terrain advantage he has. They got all those rocks on the ground because they busted up Sarada's plan. And you get this great opportunity where they can't necessarily run. They can only go straight. Funamushi's made a tornado out of water. Boruto can't absorb it. That's not information that Funamushi had, but that's another advantage he has working for him. And so they got no choice but to try and escape. And what I like right there is that Iwabe and Metal Lee and Denki, they show back up on the battlefield, and Iwabe comes in clutch and makes a huge earth style that creates a mud river that ends up blocking off the terrain. And so Iwabe kind of shows that he's not useless. So big shouts out to Iwabe right there. And what I like is that after the fact, they go back to the village, they fortify their defenses, they have the opportunity to say, okay, we've seen how Funamushi's jutsu works. His jutsu is most dangerous when he's got natural existing water. Boruto, if worst case scenario came, Karma's supposed to be top secret, but we need to seal this off because Boruto can't even use his Karma if we need him to be able to use it because he can't absorb this. So they seal off all the water in the village. So when Funamushi and his forces advance on the village, we're watching as the battles are going on and we're seeing everybody on Boruto's team, they're doing their thing. Everybody on Metal Lee's team is doing their thing. Even Denki's out there with kunai swapping hands with everybody. We're seeing that like, hey, Denki did level up because these people are supposed to be elites. His tuning exams battle with Tsubaki did show that he doesn't just need his ninja weapon tech Iron Man suit. He's actually halfway decent himself. And so I like that you saw that moment right there. And I also like that they make light work out of the main force of Funamushi's Funato clan members that are advancing on the scene. And what I like is that Funamushi just shows like, hey, I don't care that you sealed up everything. The fact of the matter is that I got water right here. And the moment that he grabbed his soldiers by the neck, we see a clear distinction between how he leads and how somebody like Kagura or Sarada would lead, which is essentially they value their chess pieces, which are basically Boruto and Mitsuki and everybody below them in rank. However, Funamushi just sees them as pawns that he can use and discard at any given moment. And so what he does is he grabs him by the neck. And my first thought was, okay, well, the human body is 75% water. He's just drawing out their water. It's not just the water in their body that he's drawing out, but he's also drawing on their blood because according to him, blood is also water. He uses his subordinates to be able to power that water tornado jutsu. And right there, you realize that things have escalated. They're right back in the situation where they had no answer for it before. And Kagura gets the moment where he steps up, he grabs the sword that was entrusted to him by Chojuro, and he's calling on Chojuro, and he's also calling on his own grandfather, the fourth Mizukage, to lend him strength. And so we have this moment where he pushes past his limits. Very badass scene where he slices the entire water tornado in half using his sword, but it takes up all of his chakra. And so Kagura is wheezing for breath. And we get the revelation that at the very last second, Funamushi was able to escape. And then that's when the big death happens, because this man holds Kagura hostage and he says, I want everybody to lay down their weapons. It just shows that like Hebi Ichigo, Bunten, and Kyoho, Kagura is growing on them. They recognize him as being an ally. And so everybody's standing there and they're expecting Funamushi to let him go. And Funamushi, my man right now, he ain't on demon time or nothing like that. My man's on a whole villain arc right now because my man says, I never said that I was going to let this man go. You just assumed that I was. I'm going to make you feel the same helplessness that I did when I lost Siren right in front of me. And he penetrates this man from behind. You got the sword sticking out right through his guts, right through the top of his chest. You got the blood dripping. And one of the last shots that we see before we get to Kagura's eyes closing is we see Boruto screaming in agony. And that is so huge. That's what I wanted for Boruto as a character. I wanted this man to lose somebody right in front of him. Like, it's different when he sees Naruto take a nap and he has his tea and crumpets and ramen with Kurama before they have their long, heartfelt goodbye. Sure, that was so emotional. Don't get me wrong. It's another thing when he comes to and he finds out that Momoshiki went poke on Sasuke's Rinnegan. Sure. But here's the thing. He didn't see none of that shit. He saw this. Even if Kagura lives, he's gonna be traumatized by this. I love it. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I need more of this right here. Like, it ain't gotta be character deaths, but I need more stakes being raised in this manner. And based on the next episode spoilers, we know it's getting ready to happen. We got another body dropping next week. So man, I like what they're doing right here. So press F in the chat for Kagura. Let me know down in the comment section below. How did you like this raising of the stakes? That is going to be my episode question. But so always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Have an awesome day, guys.